Hello, welcome back to another video. This time it's garden time. Honestly, I had so many different garden tasks that needed doing, just really random little things. So I thought I would just bring you along and see what we get up to, really, so you can see just you're spending time in the garden with me, really. But anyway, so I got these garden shelf things from my friend, and it's really handy. They fold up and fold down and everything, which as a renter and also as someone who just chronically cannot decide where to put everything and changes the mind about layouts of everything every single week, these were perfect. So I started with those and just started I had a bunch of these pots that had literally just been on the ground, and the number of spiders and bugs and all sorts, it was just disgusting. So I was like, these are absolutely the first things that need to be put on the shelves, because I am not a spider fan at all. I mean, anyone who's a spider fan, I'm worried about you. But I get these absolutely ginormous spiders, and I think it's something with living in the country. Also, the house I'm living in is a really old house. But these spiders are absolutely huge, and they're not only in my garden, they're in the house as well, and it is ridiculous. Also, I don't know if it's just the weather at the minute, or it's that time of year, or it's just my house and my garden. There are cobwebs and spider webs everywhere. I can literally, this is why probably the main task that I had to do was sweeping. Just so much sweeping. Sweeping so many cobwebs. And I mean, you'll see, this was actually, I did this over a weekend, and there was some bits that I ended up having to sweep both days. And then even now, there's cobwebs back on them. It's these spiders manage to make a new web every hour. It's ridiculous. So if anyone has any tips, not just on getting rid of stuff, but preventing it in the first place, I honestly would be eternally grateful. One thing I have looked into getting is, I think I actually might have already ordered it, is some peppermint oil, as I've heard peppermint oil and then citrus as well, spiders don't like those things. So I'm thinking I might just then I think you just add those in with water and then spray them in all the places where spiders are, there's a lot of them or whatever. I would genuinely be spraying them everywhere though. But yeah, that has been my weekend, and my garden tasks have mainly been getting rid of all these bloody cobwebs and spider webs. I absolutely hate it. I really, really do. So any tips on that are genuinely so greatly received. As I mentioned, I literally cannot decide on the layout for literally anything. I change my mind about everything constantly, and I feel when I'm then putting something new into place, I'm reworking it multiple times. So I've tried now having I've got one of these shelves down by my potting bench, and then just, excuse me, knocking over my plants, as you do. But yeah, so I've got one that's next to the potting bench, and then I've put one up on the next level in my garden. It's really weird how the garden is laid out. It can be quite good. It's quite, I almost see that whole top section as this could almost be where all my pots and where I'm growing everything is. At the end there is then, I've built myself a pallet sofa type thing, but it's just kind of been covered with a tarp because I didn't quite finish it. And so then it's like nearly the end of summer now and I haven't really gotten around to enjoying it. But anyhow, there's always next year. But anyway, so I moved one of the shelves up onto the next level. This is not going to be where they actually end up staying. I'm just sort of putting things wherever and seeing if they work. It's one thing that I've started doing way more now that I'm living here, is trying out putting things in different places and just live with it for like a few weeks. Because normally within that few weeks, I'll then be able to see if that thing is actually like practical and functional and whether it actually works in the space like I thought it might. I think a lot of the time I can have all these like really crazy ideas, but then it doesn't actually really work in practice. So yeah, everything will probably get moved around in another few weeks. But hey, it just means constant content for all of you. But anyway, the next thing was I did another pallet planter. Honestly, these are so easy, and it's almost like once you kind of get the hang of it, they're like so really easy to put together and so easy to make. But I had all of the like tomato, what is it, like the tomato suckers, like the bits that you can prune off. I had a whole bunch of those and basil that I had propagated, and it had all been sitting on my kitchen windowsill, and like there were roots on all of it by this point, like quite a lot, you'll see. But so I thought I would just get those sort of like planted out. I know that it is completely like not the right time of year to be doing it, and I think it's just one of those things. I don't like to be wasteful, and that even comes in with like my plants. So when I was like pruning all of these bits, and I was thinking to myself, oh, you know, like I knew that I could propagate them, and I almost didn't want to like get rid of them straight away. I almost wanted to like just give it a chance to grow, really, even if it doesn't actually end up growing or producing anything. I just wanted to give it a chance, you know, and also like just experiment with it. So if I then go and do this another year, and I know if I get to this point in the year and my tomato plants are as small as these cuttings are, then I know that I'm probably not going to get any tomatoes. So it's just, I'm just seeing all of it as just one big experiment and one big sort of like way for me to increase my knowledge really about gardening. It really is just trial and error, but I'm loving it and it's great, so it works. I've also put in this planter I think it's Oya, I think is how it's pronounced, but it's like OLLA. It's basically like a self-watering system. I've done this in the other planters that I did, and honestly this has been life-changing. I think if you regularly forget to water your plants like I do, and equally you either don't want to or can't set up like one of those self-irrigation system things where everything just like automatically gets watered like straight from the tap, if you can't do that or don't want to, these are actually a really good alternative. Like, yes, obviously you still have to water, but not as regularly. Like if I don't remember to water my plants every single day, they're still going to be all right. And equally, it's also really then clear to see when the plants do need watering, because if I like lift off the lid to these pots and see that there's no water in them, then I know that the plants need watering. But if I open the lids and there's actually quite a bit of water still left in them, then they're fine and they don't need doing. So it's been so good. I would completely recommend anyone doing this if you know, like really don't want to have to water your plants every day. I wonder if it's almost like saving water as well, because it's only really giving the plant what it needs in terms of water rather than like overwatering it. But anyway, one thing that I did also learn with doing the planters last time with the tomatoes is to get the trellises in from day one. So I did that, even though these things probably aren't going to get the time to grow that tall. So hence the squinty faces as I'm like looking into the sun doing this. But yeah, then I just started to get everything planted out, and yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of roots on these things. I didn't even plant all of them out because I also I want to sort of see how well they do. I might put some of the others that, you know, I didn't have space for within the planter. I might just put them into like separate pots or something. But honestly, like, I really am I'm just seeing if it works. Why not? Like, why not see if I can even just get like a few extra tomatoes from them? And so I did also put some basil in with all of these. And then I think there was like a stray marigold as well that went in. So yeah, it was basically just whatever I had that could sort of be planted together I put in this planter. But we'll see what happens with it. So again, sweeping. So much bloody sweeping. And genuinely these cobwebs are just everywhere. It's an absolute nightmare. Like, to the point, like, I now have this like small handheld little garden brush. It's not even probably supposed to be a garden brush. I just didn't want to keep using my like indoor dustpan and brush for all these cobwebs and stuff outside. But yeah, genuinely, like, they get everywhere. Even like on the sides of like the walls on my house. It's ridiculous. But yeah, so plenty of sweeping. And as soon as the peppermint oil and citrus oil and things like that, as soon as they arrive, I will absolutely be spraying that literally everywhere, on every single door, on every single window, inside my house, outside my house. I'm going to be spraying it everywhere. If anyone knows if like those oils, if they're not safe for certain things, like, I don't have pets, there's no kids, there's like nothing like that. Not that those things wouldn't be safe for kids, but anyway, like, there's no pets around or anything like that, so I don't really need to worry about if they're like toxic or whatever to like cats and dogs and stuff. I don't even really seem to get many cats like come into my garden like from neighbours and stuff like that. The only thing I get is birds. So the pigeon nesting in the tree is doing really well. If anyone watched one of my previous videos where I showed that I had a pigeon nesting in my tree, the pigeon is doing great. One of the other tasks that I then wanted to do was just pruning away some of like the dead bits in the garden, mainly the strawberry plants. My strawberry plants really suffered this year. I think I had like a couple of really tiny, like abnormally shaped strawberries, and that was about it. They then died. I think part of it was like inconsistent watering on my half, on like my part, but then also the woodlice. They have completely and utterly destroyed my strawberry plants this year. I actually made these planters with the idea of sort of like making a like shelf thing, so it was like a tiered, like raised sort of thing, which I'm absolutely going to make sure that I have that put in place for next year because these were just sort of like on the ground, and then obviously woodlice got into them and completely destroyed the plants. But it's what it is. I did try and include like a little bit of a close-up. You can literally see the woodlice like all within the plant. Like, I was taking all of these bits out and pruning them all, and all these woodlice were just sort of like emerging out from like inside the plant, like where the roots are. It was horrendous. But anyway, so I definitely need to do something different with the strawberry plants next year. I have also saved some of the marigolds that I sort of like, I just deadheaded like any of the marigolds that were like properly dead and crispy on these plants. Can you tell that I don't really like do much regular maintenance in the garden. It's really bad. But anyway, I saved the seeds because you can actually like get like marigold seeds from your marigolds. One thing that I don't know though, am I supposed to get rid of the little bit at the bottom, like where it's still sort of like a flower? Like, do you get rid of that bit first and then pull them out? I'm not sure. So this weird looking thing in this jar, I promise I'm not growing aliens. This is actually an avocado pit. I have tried so many times, like countless number of times, to sprout an avocado pit, and it's just never wanted to do it. And I always used to do it with the method, you know, you put like cocktail sticks in it and then like suspend that over a jar of water so that it's sort of like touching the water. That's basically how I always tried doing it, and it just never ever worked. And then this time what I did is I just got an avocado pit, cleaned it up, and then wrapped it in a damp bit of kitchen roll and left it in a jar for genuinely probably like 3 or 4 months, and just sort of like forgot about it, and it sprouted. So now that it's got roots and a like little sprout bit coming up the top, I figured I should probably get this actually planted up. So my partner's sister has one of these, and it's sort of like, it's almost like it's not completely buried in the soil, like it's almost like sitting on the top. So I didn't know if that's what you were supposed to do with it, like not have it completely buried. So that's what I've done. Hopefully that's right, but hers is doing great, so I assume it can't be anything harmful for them anyway. And then the final task that I needed to do, which I don't know if it's a summer thing or whether it's just like, I think at some point I have had a plant that like was not great and then introduced it to all my other plants, and I then got these like really tiny little flies around all my plants. I think they're actually called, and this is going to sound disgusting, they're called fungus gnats. And basically they'll like lay their eggs and stuff in the top layer of the soil, so you just constantly get more. You can see from these sticky traps that I put up like so many, and they're just disgusting. But anyway, my uncle is like really green thumbed. Like any gardening advice he gives, I'm taking it, because this man could literally, he's been known to prune plants before in the garden, leave the cuttings on the ground, and the cuttings have grown into new plants. Like he genuinely is just like so green thumbed. Anything he tries just grows. It's ridiculous, and I'm so envious. But anyway, his tip was to use a layer of sharp sand over the top of the soil, and as horrible as it sounds, it then almost like it's too sharp for the flies, so they can't like lay their eggs, so then obviously they can't reproduce, so then you end up with no flies, which I'm really hoping this works, because I have tried pretty much everything. So I'm really hoping that this is the turning point for all of this. So I will let you know how this goes. But it's a tip that my uncle absolutely swears by, and he has a lot of houseplants. So maybe try this. If you are suffering with the tiny little annoying flies around your plants, then try putting some sharp sand over the soil. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this week's video. I know that it's just a bit of I've just been getting things done that need doing in the garden, and honestly, just see this as your sign. Go and do whatever it is you've been putting off in the garden, and just get it done. You'll feel so much better once it's sorted and it's not on your mind anymore. And your garden will probably thank you for it. This is probably stuff that needs doing. So just get on with it. Like, really, honestly, like, this made me feel so much better. Just like starting to finally like have a bit of a cleaner, tidier space. It is by no means finished, and there is still so much to do, with constant cobwebs needing to be swept. But anyway, I hope you have enjoyed, and don't hate me too much for my spider rant. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, all of that stuff. It genuinely really does mean the world. And leave a comment of anything. I'm sure, I can't even remember the top of my head. I know I've asked quite a few questions and quite a few things throughout the video. So feel free, like, I would love to know any answers, any advice, any tips, anything like that from anything I have asked. But anyway, I hope you have enjoyed, and I hope you have a great week, great weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye.